You're listening to the John and Heidi Show, now featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
Sunny 93.3, faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. Mr. Dan Farris joining us right now for the bonus hour of the John and Heidi Show. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing pretty well, and before we get into it, I know a lot of people at home, if you're watching this on our closed circuit, that you can, I guess we got an app for that somewhere. I took a knee this morning.
Oh, you did?
I'm making a statement
What
about
for?
Heidi got thrown off Facebook again, this time for a week.
A week?
Well, here's the thing. Got to explain, Dan. She got thrown off for 24 hours, and they said, you need to learn your lesson. And then the first thing she did when she came back on was prove that she didn't learn her lesson. So she got kicked off for 3 more days. Then, upon further review, Facebook said 3 days ain't enough. We're making this a week.
So there you go.
Way to go, Heidi.
You know, I have to say, the real winner in this whole scenario is that Facebook employee's mother for letting him stay up so late to be on Facebook until 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning to find the flaws. Because they're trying to sleep upstairs.
Are they?
And I think that says a lot. She deserves a round of applause.
She certainly does.
So...
Oh, and also a round of applause for our winners, something we fired up a little while back, and we're waiting for people to submit and get on. And then we've got a couple of winners for
Tire Motive.
For Tire Motive and oil changes.
Yes.
And I'm not just
Which
talking.
is fantastic.
I'm not talking a chippy dippy little cheap oil
It's
thing.
the real deal, man.
The value up to $50.
Yeah, it's
I
a
know.
big...
For instance, a lot of newer vehicles take
Require
this
better
synthetic
oil.
oil, and Mike and Jeff and the crew over there are more than willing to take care of business.
That is fantastic.
Congratulations to Stephanie Combs of Sioux Falls.
She won one.
And Mick Hebe, or Hybe, I believe, out of Brandon, I believe.
Yes, so congrats to the two of you.
I asked if I could win one, and she was immediately shot down by everybody.
And I've said this a few times over the past 6 or 7 months, but the fact of the matter is we pretty much work with people on air, our advertisers, or people we've done business with for quite a while.
Yeah.
Great folks at Tire Motive.
I've been with Tire Motive. They are the exclusive mechanic of my Ford Mustang, and there's a reason for that.
They're good.
Yeah.
Very good.
They're very good is right, and I really needed them this spring. Thank you, Brian. Nice job.
They also helped me out with the Sunny Hummer. I took that in. I did an oil change and looked to make sure it wasn't going to explode before we wrapped it with the Sunny stuff. Because I just want to make sure it's mechanically sound and it's going to be okay.
They're amazing.
So how can folks win an oil change, John?
If you'd like to win, go to sunnyradio.com. You'll see a little button at the top that says Win Awesome Prizes. If you click that, that's one of the awesome prizes. We also have Famous Dave's on there. So a couple of cool, awesome, amazing prizes that you could win at sunnyradio.com.
Yep, Tire Motive, driven by service on North Marion Road.
Coming up, we've got more fun stuff to get to on this beautiful Friday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Mr. Dan Farris on Sunny 93.3.
Do you use a credit card? Is it a good one? Do you get points and perks? Are they for things that you actually use? We have a site that compares credit cards from a bunch of different banks and from a bunch of different credit card companies to help you find the very best credit card for you. It's absolutely free to see if there's a better credit card for you at bettercreditcards.net. With many of the credit cards, you can even roll over a balance if you find a better deal. Check it out now at bettercreditcards.net.
Faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. Thank you for listening to Sunny 93.3. It's time now for Ranger Dan's Critter Corner.
Well, I'm rough, tough, and ready. I'm a heck of a man. Eat my beans and weenies from a frying pan.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves to wrestle bears and lasso ducks. Run over possums in my government truck.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves all the campers and the animals too. If you're picking on critters, I'm coming after you.
He's Ranger Dan.
Yes, sir. I'm Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
morning, Ranger
Well,
Dan.
top of the morning, little radio rangers, little Ranger Heidi, Ranger John.
I love the new Radio Ranger Dan theme song, by the way.
It's a remix that's available to download as your ringtone on your phone for
It's trending on iTunes right now.
$1.99. It's the dance mix. You know, when this whole Ranger Dan little thing started, I had no idea how big it would get. I didn't set out for fame and fortune, but gosh darn it, here we are.
Yeah.
Let's gather around, little radio rangers at home. We've got some things to talk about this morning that really has nothing to do with critters or anything else. It's all about, I've been given pretty good. I've taught you a lot. You can survive on your own, basically. You know what to do when faced by a bear, a rabid raccoon, dive bombing crows, whatever the case may be. Well, here's the thing. Turns out in my line of work, once you become a big star, the merchandise is the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Who knew East Coast tourists would lay down $20 bills all day long for a RangerDan hat, badge, or a taser?
Nice.
Surprised the dickens out of me, too.
Taser.
Oh, yeah.
Tasers, nice.
Yeah, when they hit old South Dakota, headed towards the Badlands or Deadwood or Rushmore, they want their RangerDan gear to bring back home for their little radio rangers as well.
Nice.
Problem is, apparently there's a little ice raid on my manufacturing plant outside Huron.
Which pretty much halted production.
So you're backlogged? Is what
So,
you're saying?
hey, well, you might say I've got a supply problem going on here. So, hey, little radio rangers, here's the thing. This is going to be huge. Ranger Dan, that's me.
That is you.
Proud to announce the RangerDan Child Labor Day weekend.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Is this line up with Labor Day weekend?
It does. It starts August 31st. We're going to run till Monday, September 2nd
Nice.
at noon. I've secured Leif Erikson Day Camp,
Okay.
and I'm looking for children 7 to 12 years old.
With
Any
tiny
special
little
skills?
fingers.
No, what we're going to do, we're going to line you up at the old picnic tables, and we're going to start putting these things together. You're going to get 12 cents for every unit you finish. Plus an endless supply of beans and weenies and enough Monster Energy drink to completely destroy your bladders and kidneys.
Keep you awake all weekend.
But there's more, kids.
Okay.
You'll get to meet Ranger Dan's little sidekicks, my security team, Rico Raccoon and Punchy the gun-toting possum. First 100 little radio rangers to sign up on my Facebook page are going to get a free tap beer or well drink from Chesterfield's Bar in Sioux City.
Oh,
You get it done. Remember, do not ask parental permission. Get on Ranger Dan's Facebook and just register today. We're gonna get it done. Ranger Dan's Child Labor Day weekend coming up August 31st. Hey, little Rangers, remember, stay in school, go to church, say your prayers, eat your vegetables, don't play soccer, and goodness gracious, don't wear Crocs. Ranger Dan out. Yes, sir.
thank you very much. Hey, the authorities are on line 1 for you, and my attorney's on line 2 for me. Thanks for listening to Sunny 93.3.
How much do you pay for cable TV or satellite each month? Many people spend well over $100 every month for TV. But many smart consumers are cutting the cable and satellite with ChannelSurferTV.com. We have some amazing HD antennas that allow you to pick up a bunch of local TV networks for free. We also have a DVR that allows you to record the shows and watch them when you have time. Watch TV with no monthly fee with ChannelSurferTV.com. That's ChannelSurferTV.com.
Sunny 93.3. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris. It's time now for Water Cooler Talk, brought to you by Aqua One. And Dan is over here right now laughing. Oh, no. What is going on?
I'm fine.
Oh, okay. I always get a little nervous when the two of you are laughing like this.
I'm good.
Okay.
Education, it's a big thing.
It
and
is.
It just is. Have you ever heard a politician ever come out when they're running for office and not mention education?
No, they always mention
It's a big deal. There's never enough money, and it's always in turmoil, and it's always a mess, and blah, 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 blah. I thought
they
this
always
was...
promise they're going to give more money to it as well.
Yeah, and they do. I mean, the budget goes up every
keeps
year.
going up
That's
and
not
up
the thing.
and
What's
up.
interesting is geographically, and I just came across this report, the most educated to the least educated states in the union.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's based on graduation rates. It's based on who's got college degrees, who's been to some college. I mean, they put a lot of criteria into this.
Most educated in the northeast part of the country
Correct, sir.
is the least educated in the south part of the country.
Wow, that's probably racist. I'm not sure,
I never
but
said anything
yes,
about race.
John.
But
I
yes.
But yes.
I'm pretty sure I read this study like 3 years ago. I just wondered if it
Yeah,
changed.
I boiled down the worst 5, then boiled down the top 5.
Are we in any of those?
We're kind of in the middle. We'll get to that in a
Okay.
second.
All right.
The most or best, according to this report, educated populations in this country.
Okay.
Starts out at number 5, New Hampshire, number 4, Connecticut, 3, Maryland, 2, Colorado, which bounces way west, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And then right back to the East Coast with Massachusetts.
I was going to say, if I were going to guess.
tight. Now let's get to the bottom 5. Clocking in at number 46, Kentucky, followed by Arkansas, Louisiana at number 48.
Okay.
Mississippi's at number 49. And dragging the bottom of the barrel, West Virginia, Mountain Mama at number 15.
Really?
I don't think that's changed. I remember reading it a few years ago. I'm pretty sure it's like almost all of the same people.
I think it's been the trend for quite some time.
Has it?
You know?
Here's the thing that's interesting. Our radio program, the John and Heidi Show, is syndicated. We're huge in a lot of those uneducated states.
Well, it's not like everyone in these states is either a genius or, a moron. For instance, my son.
And education does not necessarily mean smart.
Noticing a pattern is all I'm saying.
Because Louisiana's coming in at number 48. Well, my son Luke's significant other, Melissa,
From there.
is from Louisiana, and she's far smarter than I am.
There you go. Well, that's cool.
In case you want to know, South Dakota clocks in at number 29.
29
Okay.
out of 50.
Out of 50.
That's not so bad.
Iowa's at 28. North Dakota's at 21. Nebraska's at 19.
Okay.
And Minnesota's at number 8. And I think it's imperative that I mention that's where I was educated.
Oh, and number 8.
Just needed to slide that in there.
Everybody thinks they're way smarter than us now, Heidi.
And I must have gotten a good education in Minnesota because I was smart enough to leave there and not go back. So
Heidi was educated in Iowa. I was
Yeah.
educated right here in South Dakota. So somehow I slipped through the cracks. I don't know exactly what happened.
there you go. So there you go. And now you know. Just thought that was kind of interesting.
It is very interesting. Thanks, Dan.
Sure thing, John.
Going to get some entertainment news from Mr. Dan Farris here in just a bit. We got a guest coming up as well. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris on Sunny 93.3.
It's t-shirt weather. Be sure to show off your personality with an awesome, funny shirt from FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. We have some of our own funny t-shirt designs, but we're excited to have thousands of funny designs from other amazingly talented designers too. At FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Did you know you can even upload your own designs and make money with your twisted sense of humor? Why not? Check it out. FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. That's FunkyMonkeyShirts.com.
Sunny 93.3, thank you so much for listening on a Friday. I've got a guest joining me right now. We've got the Susan G. Komen More Than Pink South Dakota Walk coming right up, and I've got a survivor, Kay, joining me. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Now, when you got the diagnosis of breast cancer, that had to be kind of a scary thing. When did that happen?
That actually happened on November 1st of 2017. It was definitely scary, and it's a day that I won't soon forget.
And right now, you everything fine? You're in remission? Everything's good?
Yep, everything's great.
And what was that process like? What happened? And kind of walk us through, how did you find out?
So I actually kind of have to rewind quite a ways. I have 3 children. I have a 7-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old son, and a 3-year-old son. When I was nursing my second child, I had found a lump while I was still nursing and went in, got it checked, and my doctor had said that they did an ultrasound and they said it was a galactocele, which is essentially, the way they described it to me, is like an aneurysmal milk duct. And so the milk could go in there and kind of swirl around, and because of that, that gland got large or firm or something. But they said it's not cancer, it's never related to cancer, and it will not be cancer. I got online, which I know we're not supposed to do, but I started just Googling it, and I found all of these stories of these other women who had had the same thing, and then years later in the same spot had been diagnosed with breast cancer. So I kind of just kept that in the back of my mind and was like, okay, I'll keep an eye on it, I'll watch it, make sure I'm doing my self-exams, so on and so forth. And then I did go on to have a 3rd child. And in hindsight, I'm so glad that I did, because had I continued to push and get testing, I probably would have been diagnosed with cancer back then. I had my 3rd child, and I also nursed him for a year and stopped on his 1st birthday, and shortly thereafter I'd found that I did still have the lump. It felt kind of like a little piece of gravel or a little rock underneath my skin, and then just gradually got bigger. So I scheduled just my yearly checkup and went in, and they had said that it was nothing, and that we had already been through this, and that it should just basically go away like it did previously. But something in my gut had kind of told me that it was more than that and that I needed to push. So I did kind of insist on some testing. I had even offered to pay for it out of my pocket if my insurance wasn't willing to pay. I was so insistent that I wanted to get it checked. So we did do the mammogram and the ultrasound on Halloween, and they ended up being able to do the biopsy that same day as well. And they called me the next day to tell me that it was cancer. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So then what was the process after that? Was there more, or was it already taken out?
There's so much after that. I mean, there is just a flurry of appointments and doctors and insurance stuff. It's such a blur. I'm very thankful, though, that my doctors did take such good care of me, and they kind of just took me by the hand and said, we're going to, guide you through the next steps, and we'll take care of you. Don't worry about taking notes. We have a person that goes to your appointments with you and takes notes for you and then sends you home with everything. Then we scheduled my mastectomy, and I actually did end up getting that on my daughter's 6th birthday. And so November 30th, not even 30 days later, I had a double mastectomy. And then they gave me the choice if I wanted to do chemo or not, and I decided not to. And then I'm doing ongoing hormone therapy for potentially 5 years or more.
So are you completely cancer-free at this point?
Yes.
And I love that you said that with a giant smile, because that would be really scary to even have that pop up. And you had said you'd gone online, and you even said, oh, you're not supposed to do that. Here's the crazy thing. When you go online, everything is cancer. I'm like, I have a headache. What could it be? It's probably cancer. I'm like, what? It's like that's always the answer. It's like the default for some reason. So I know there are people that freak out, but aren't you kind of glad that you did persist on this?
Yeah, very much so. And I think that's kind of my biggest takeaway message that I tell everyone is trust your gut, trust your instincts. You know your body better than anybody does. And so if you are concerned about something and somebody kind of dismissed it and said it's nothing, then just keep pushing, and maybe you have to go to a different provider. And I think for me, I've been with my provider for a long time. And so when I told her, I'm willing to pay cash for this test, she knew I was serious. And so that's when she was like, okay, I'll get you the test.
Well, thank you very much for coming and chatting with us today.
Yeah, thank you. And also I want to just take a second to thank Susan Komen for all of the great work that they've done and everything that they've done in our community to just kind of bring that testing and the diagnostics and everything to our community so that we have that at our fingertips.
And the nice thing is you can thank Susan Komen as well. The Susan G. Komen More Than Pink South Dakota Walk is coming up. It's sneaking right up now, September 29th, which when we started talking about this, it sounded like a long, long, long ways away. That's like a month from now. So it's going to be here before you know it. If you would like to have a team, I believe you can still sign up for a team. There's still time. And coming up next week, we're going to actually be visiting with Linda Edom, and she's with Susan G. Komen. We're going to get all of the details, so be listening next week for all of the details. But I'm going to throw a link to all of the information on our Facebook page so you can sign up, get a team, get all the information, all that at facebook.com/Sunny Radio.
Do you use a credit card? Is it a good one? Do you get points and perks? Are they for things that you actually use? We have a site that compares credit cards from a bunch of different banks and from a bunch of different credit card companies to help you find the very best credit card for you. It's absolutely free to see if there's a better credit card for you at bettercreditcards.net. With many of the credit cards, you can even roll over a balance if you find a better deal. Check it out now at bettercreditcards.net.
Faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. It's Sunny 93.3. Time for entertainment news of the day with Mr. Dan Farris.
Because celebrities are fabulous. A lot of times, paparazzi will snap a picture of your favorite star walking some little dog down the avenue. Maybe they're just wearing sweats and they don't have makeup on. That's okay. That dog's worth about $4,000, but it's not really their dog. That's just a rental to hide their drugs in. That's a drug-toting animal. Hey, Dancing with the Stars, season 28. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Season 28.
How is that possible?
It doesn't seem...
They must do like 4 seasons a year or
Plus,
something.
they skipped a year.
Did they?
Yeah, it went on hiatus for whatever reason, but I've got the lineup here. And again, what's fascinating to me, my ear is to the ground when it comes to the world of famous people.
Yes,
I don't know who most of these people are.
Really?
But some are pretty interesting, and the most interesting we'll get to in just a moment, and why he's the most interesting and what happened because of his addition to this year's season.
Okay.
We've got Lauren Elena, don't know who she is. Christy Brinkley, we do know who
know
she
her.
is.
Yep.
She was married to Billy Joel.
Yes.
And one morning she looked over and went, ah!
What was I thinking?
Married somebody else.
What have I done?
Ellie Brooke, don't know who she is. Hannah Brown, don't care. Caramo Brown, really don't care. Kate Flannery.
Was she on Saturday Night Live?
She was in The Office. She was
The
on
Office,
The
okay.
Office. She was the really crazy redheaded.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's her. Ray Lewis,
Boxer?
former superstar for Baltimore Ravens, and he killed a guy in a nightclub parking lot with a knife.
What?
Got off scot-free.
Yikes.
Kel Mitchell, who I've heard of but not sure. Lamar Odom, he's a knucklehead.
Is that a sports guy?
Sure is.
Okay.
James Vanderbeek.
He was in that one show.
Yeah, and he was great in it, too.
Whatever
I know the one you're talking about.
He was great in it.
He was up a creek, or he was on there was a zip code. I don't know.
It was a creek or a stream show.
Mary Wilson, former Supreme, Diana Ross and the Supreme.
Nice.
She is on there. But here's the kick shot.
Dawson's Creek, I thought of it.
Former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer for
you
the
kidding
Trump
me?
Hey,
administration.
I may have to watch it this season.
But
What is he doing on there?
behind the scenes, there was hubbub. Sean's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah, he is.
He's a pretty funny guy. Well, the guy who co-produces the show and also hosts it, Tom RangerDan,
Yeah.
another pretty neat guy. He took exception to the addition of Sean Spicer,
Really?
saying, look, this show has been completely nothing political ever.
Yeah.
And now by throwing him into the mix,
We're opening
this
a can.
is going to create a problem. And I think he may have a
probably
valid
right.
point in
Yeah.
today's
No.
climate.
But I wasn't interested in ever watching any of it until you said maybe Sean Spicer.
I think he's going to be a huge draw for the
He
show.
does not
Yeah, I
look
think
like
so,
a
too.
graceful dancer type.
No,
He
I
doesn't
think it's
look
going
like
to be
the-
hilarious.
You never know, though,
You know?
until you start watching the show. Because, I mean, they train with professionals.
Yeah.
I suppose.
You know.
Yeah.
And, but I think Tom has a point. I think it's probably going to add viewership on the other hand. So it should be interesting that all of a
Yeah.
sudden here comes a former Trump administration guy
Oh, that's funny.
on Dancing
Spice
with the
guy.
Stars. Plus, he's got a cool personality. He's a nice guy. I think it'll work out fine. We'll,
I met
we'll see
him
what
when he was in
happens.
Sioux Falls last year.
Of course you did, and you probably owe him that $20 back.
He does not remember me, so I'm very forgettable. Well, that's really cool. So, Dancing with the Stars on which channel and what time, Dan?
Oh, wow, those are great questions. And you know, John, I could look that up, but I don't want to.
Just
And I don't care.
And this is the level of journalism that we've come to. Well, Dan, thank you for coming in, man.
You betcha. Good seeing you, Heidi.
Good to see you.
Alrighty then.
Notice he didn't say good to see me. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris on Sunny 93.3.